Alright, what's going on, you guys? We're going to go over the deadlift now. So I'll show you just a standard body weight deadlift. Alright, deadlift, we're picking the weight off the floor. So from a side angle to start, we're going to start with those feet hip width, maybe just a little bit wider. Okay, you want those toes to point forward, and we're going to make sure that the knees stay directly above the ankles at all times. What we're going to do here is we're going to hinge from the hips by pushing our butt back, allowing the knees to bend, all right? But we're not bending them forward, we're just keeping them in place. And I'm making sure that my back stays flat as I reach for the floor. Okay, knees over the ankles, hips are far behind, my back is flat, and my gaze is down. Okay, we don't want to look up because then we're going to put a lot of strain on the neck. So, weight in the heels. So think of it as the opposite of your squat. Okay, the hips go back and the chest comes down, rather than the chest staying down, rather than the chest staying up and hips going down. All right, now if we're going to add weight to that with our kettlebell, we'll just hold it like so, touch it to the floor, and stand back up. Again, driving through the heels here. We want to make sure that we keep that chest proud at all times. Okay, so roll those shoulders back, and hold your core in place here. So I want to make sure that those shoulders don't start to drop forward. I want to keep them up at all times. If we're doing it with a dumbbell, if we're doing a single arm deadlift, all right, we can just hold it with one hand. Or if we have maybe a bigger bell, we're going to hold on both sides. Okay, same thing. This one, you're probably not going to touch it to the floor because you're going to want to go to where your mobility allows. So if you get to this position and then to get all the way to the floor, you have to round your back. Don't worry about it. Just take it to that mid-shin level. Okay. Or you can also hold here to be a better guide as to where to stop. Okay. We also have the overhead deadlift. Not something you're going to do with weight. It's going to be all body weight. All right, but it's a really good starter or even a warm-up exercise for your deadlifts. So all you're going to do is take those arms overhead, keep those biceps by the ears, lock them in. All right, so my arms stay here at all times. And as I push my hips back, I bring my chest down, same thing, okay? What I really like about the overhead deadlift is that it's forcing your upper body to stay locked in the proper position. So sometimes when we use our arms to reach for the floor, we tend to round the back or let the shoulders drop. We want to avoid that. So with our arms overhead, it forces us to keep that chest proud, that back long, that spine long as we go through the motion. Okay, so again, I wouldn't do that one with weight. Okay, you also could do a good morning, which is another variation of the deadlift. So taking your weight, holding it behind the head, back rack position. Here you'll let your knees be a little bit longer here. So you'll take your time. There won't be quite as much bend, but we're still engaging through the glutes, engaging through the hamstrings, and staying active in our low back. All right. Now, to go over our next weighted or unweighted, we have a single leg deadlift. So a single leg deadlift is exactly how it sounds. A single leg deadlift, okay? So it doesn't change the form of the exercise at all, other than we're just on one leg now. So there's a couple ways to do this. Typically you'll see it done by lifting the leg. Okay. There's a more modified version to start before you get there. So what I like to tell people is make a kickstand. So you take your active leg that's going to stay down, and you'll take whatever leg weight you would traditionally lift, you're going to just step it back about a foot or so. Just enough so that way your very tippy toe is on the floor. All right, I'm not on the balls of my feet, just a very tippy toe. So all your weight should still be on that active leg. Okay, the back leg, it's just there for balance. So think of it like a kickstand. So from here, same thing, I'm going to push my hips back, allow my knee to soften, and touch the floor. I'm still driving through my heel. Okay, my knee still bends slightly. keeping it over the ankle. All right, and this back leg's just here for balance. So once you feel comfortable with that version, then I invite you to bring that leg up with it. So think about your top of your head connecting to the heel of that inactive leg, okay? So we want it to stay in one straight line. So what we want to avoid is lifting the leg prematurely or too late, okay? We want it to move at the same time. So as we hinge forward, we're going to lift that back leg up, pressing through the heel, and then stand up tall. Okay, we want to actively lift this leg high towards the ceiling. We want to try to avoid leaving it down at the bottom. Okay, because then we start to shift the hips. So lift, 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 lift. Keep those hips square to the floor, and then drive. Okay, so single leg deadlift, there's a lot of balance incorporated. So if you're not too confident or too strong, take it slow with the single leg deadlift. Start off with little to no weight, and then build up. All right, if you are going to do weighted single leg deadlifts, what I like to do personally, if I'm doing just one dumbbell or kettlebell, I like to hold it in the side of the opposite active leg. So my active leg is my right side, so I'll hold it in my left. So as I kick my left leg up, I'm going to bring that left hand towards the floor. That right hand still can come too, okay, but that weight's in the left. So we want to exaggerate, bring that left side down. And what happens here versus doing the same side is a lot of people, they do the same side and they start to open the hips. We don't want to open the hips here. Okay, we want to keep them closed, we want to keep them flush to the floor. So it's a lot easier to do that when the weight's in the opposite side rather than in the same side. Okay, but you'll find what variation works for you.